Hello, Malta, and I wanted to go over these pictures we've just had delivered from the framers in a little bit more detail. This is a watercolour by Holloway, who is a recorded artist, famous artist in England, and the watercolour has deteriorated somewhat. It has foxing on it, it has yellowed slightly, but because the picture has ochres in it anyway, and it's an old picture, and the foxing is even, I think that it is a usable picture. So we had it framed. It cost a lot of money to have this framed because this painting is suspended in a clear gap, and the problem with getting this done is because the painting is stuck to a piece of wood. You can't rely purely on the tension of the glass to support it. And what I didn't want to happen was, or the framers want to happen was, I didn't want this thing to shake around and move and not migrate down between the two pieces of glass. So what they've done is they've used glass on the front, they've used glass on the back. It's what called a box frame, and they put a piece of perspex in with a hole cut in it to support it. And we wanted to save this board because on the back there is the remnants of an elaborate packing case which was used to send this to England from Venice. And there was some annotations on the back about where it was. This wasn't a house in Nashua for quite a long time, until I bought it last year or the year before. So I'm very pleased with that. The buyer can hang this thing on in their house. They can look at the back. The colour of the wall will show through. They have to hang it so that the wire is not visible, so they have to get two nails adequately put in the wall in the right place, dead level, and then they can hang it using those fixings. So that's I think is really impressive. And you can go to the kitchen, you can go to the bathroom, perhaps not a bathroom actually because it's damp. Go in the kitchen, in a reception room, hallway, whatever. So though it's not Malta, I think it is decoratively really good, and quite a large watercolour, and a very well painted watercolour. One of the things I look for in watercolours is the lack of outlines. There are no outlines around these buildings in black, which is a big sign of a sketch style watercolour. This is a classical watercolour, and I think that is a great thing. We also had done a Matisse print, and again, because there's not a lot to differentiate between a modern Matisse and a good Matisse print, I felt that because this is a good early one, first edition if you like, I thought that it was necessary to have the back visible to the buyer. This is sold to a noble family in Malta. That's going to be delivered later in the week. So they waited for this to be framed, and on the face of it, it's a very knackered, crumpled old print, and I like that more than a white background Matisse print, which could be new or recent. This has got pinholes on it where it's been stuck on a bedroom wall, perhaps. It's got some water damage, it's got some creases and folds, and perforations. We've left all the holes, we've left all the crumples, and we've just framed it. Glass front, glass back. That is a light piece of paper, and it is held with some tape. I think they use some conservation tape to hold it in position. I can't actually see how they've done it. I think there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares of conservation tape, double-sided, which is enough to hold it in place. This came from France. I bought it in France earlier this year, along with a load of other things, and it's got some old labels. It's got a lot number, date on it. The main thing is it's got 1952 here. We sold another one where they had printed in a second edition, and there was another date above it. This is the oldest one, in 1952, which is when this thing was actually painted by Matisse. So it's not a painting, it is a real print. It's quite large. I think that's fantastic. Again, multi-use, bright and cheerful, optimistic, happy, stylish. And I think the framing is good. Some people won't like the framing. I like the framing. This one here is a Esposito, Vincenzo Esposito Esposito. This has come from England this year, bought it in January. Quite a good signature. It has Malta on it, which is a sign that it was for a foreigner to be taken to England. Angelo, Cotonera, Lower Baracca, a warship, a steamer coming out of the harbour. Quite an unusual aspect. I've not seen many like that one. It's quite big, and it's got this dark blue or black. So I decided to put it in a dark blue mount, rightly or wrongly. The original frame was modest. That's probably a 1990s frame. It was damaged, but it did have this hand-drawn, hand-painted, hand-coloured mount. So what we did is we took it out of the old frame. That's the old frame. Left this now, and we left the mount, which was okay, and we just put this extra margin on in the blue. And it's hit and miss. If someone's got a blue room, a library, study, whatever, and they have blue, that will work nicely. If I'm unlucky and someone's got a green room, then it won't work so well, but it can be changed if necessary. So that's quite a good Esposito, quite a good scene, very good condition, fresh. This one here, the next one is a Jack Gianni, Eves Gianni, and it was bought from England in January, bought it in January, and it had a knackered old frame. I generally don't like, to be honest, reframing anything. It's expensive, number one. Number two, it's aggravation. Number three, it is nice to have old frames, but this is not a very interesting frame, and it's not going to go in the sort of houses that my customers have. They don't want shabby, knackered old frame. So unfortunately, it was taken out, and that's again rubbish now. But you can see that it's enlarged, perhaps a little bit, because it has a bigger frame. It's a very simple frame with golds. There were golds in the actual picture. Very, very good picture of Paestum, which is in southern Italy. Some Greek Roman temples. Not sure which one. I think they're Roman temples. Not a new scene, but very pleasant scene. Beautiful picture. Gianni, very, very cheap at the moment. Giannis are. They're going to go high. This is in a plastic covering. I'm going to leave on for the moment. So what we had there done is, because the mount underneath was decayed and discoloured, all we did was we put a cream mount over the top, and the inner little bit of gold mount is the visible part of the old mount. So that's what we've had done there. And the work's being done in Malta by a fine company called Deco, D-E-C-O, Deco. They have an outlet in San Juan. They have an outlet in Tocali, the old Spitfire, the old World War II airstrip in the middle of the island. They have a very nice shop there, and they're selling art. They have an upstairs full of picture frames ready made. But all these things we had done today were specially ordered, and they have a factory in Boulabel, I think they said. So this is an effort to gather in some saleable stock which is ready to hang. It is old art presented in a way which can go into a modern family situation or office situation, and I hope you found that interesting. Thank you.